So my name is Rosie Oakes and I'm an International Climate Services Scientist at the Met Office in the UK. Now, a climate services scientist works with people to understand what challenges they're facing or what problems they're trying to solve. And then we talk about what climate information they might need to help them answer those questions. So it's a really great job for me because it combines climate science and talking to people about how they're going to use this climate science to help them make decisions and solve problems that they're facing. So climate change science has come on a really long way in the last few years, and it's exciting to be working somewhere at the cutting edge of those developments. But there are still some challenges in the research of both observed and projected future climate change. So when global climate models are tested, they are checked against past observations of climate to make sure that they are doing a good job of generating the climate in those regions against a record that we already have. The problem with this is that in some regions of the globe, there are really limited observational records, and that can make it tricky to test whether the climate models are behaving as we would expect them to in those regions. Now, these limits in the observational record are being tackled by big global programs such as the WMO's Global Observing System program, which is using satellite data to increase our observational records around the globe. So hopefully we're working to tackle this problem. When we're talking about future climate change, one of the biggest uncertainties is us. Global climate modelers do not know what humans are going to do in the next 5, 10, 25 or 50 years in terms of carbon dioxide emissions. Are we going to carry on as normal? Are we going to increase our carbon dioxide emissions, or are we going to decrease our carbon dioxide emissions and start to remove carbon from the atmosphere? With so much uncertainty about what humans will do, this moves into uncertainty in the projections that come out of the global climate models. And the further we go into the future, the more uncertain we are about what humans are going to do. And so that contributes to some of the uncertainty in global climate models. In order to tackle this challenge, it's going to be really important that everybody understands what climate change is, why it's happening, and what we can do to prepare for it and mitigate against it. And what I've learned from my work in international climate services is it's crucial to understand where someone is coming from. You have to understand the decisions that they're trying to make and what pressures they may be under. Climate change isn't the only issue that we're fighting. So listen to people and work with people to understand where they're coming from, and then try and work to provide accessible information that can help them make decisions. And making information accessible can be everything from making sure it's at the right technical level for them, make sure it's in a format that they can see and understand, make sure they can access the material, and make sure that they know where to go for updated material. It's really tricky, but I do think that everybody can understand climate change, and we just have to work together to make sure that we are communicating it in the right way. And remember, like most things in life, it's really unlikely that you're going to get this right first time round. So keep working with people and keep talking to people until you have the material in the best way that they can use it and understand it to help them make better decisions. So climate change can feel like a really overwhelming problem for one person to solve, but there are changes that we can make in our own lives to reduce our carbon emissions. For example, I like to walk or cycle to work. I try and eat food which is grown locally, and I have changed out a lot of meat from my diet and I eat plants instead to reduce my carbon footprint. It's also really important that you make your voice heard, so vote when you can and write to your representatives in your local area to tell them what changes you would like to see to benefit your community and make yourself more climate ready. But above all, the most important thing to do is talk about it. Talk about climate change and talk about what you're doing to tackle climate change. Recent research by Climate Outreach has shown that people are more likely to be swayed by what their friends or neighbours are doing than by what they read in an article. So you have the power not only to make change in your own life, but to make real impact on your community. Keep learning, keep talking, and if we all work together, we can tackle this problem.